these protests were met by a severe crackdown from the security forces. It's a little bit of a risky environment, but you want to cover it. You need to cover it. It's important. What are the ways that you go about doing it smartly? You just need to be as aware as possible of your physical environment and map out the physical environment and what your potential escape routes can be. You want to have more than one way to get out of town if things start to get dodgy. Do not go to the protests alone. It's always good to go with a buddy if at all possible, and it's good to have someone who can call your backup people if you get into trouble. That's another thing. Make sure that you have somebody who you're talking to who's not in the protest, so people know where you are and what's going on with you. The other thing is situational awareness. When you're in the middle of protest and you're interviewing someone, it's very easy to just get sucked in. You need to keep an eye on whether things are changing or even whether there's just a big group of people forming around you, because that will make you stand out and that puts you at risk. You want to try to keep moving as much as possible, and you want to stay on the edges of crowds. So again, if you need to leave, you have that choice. The other important thing is mental health. The fundamentals, the basics, become all that more important when you're in these really intense environments. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to be coming back from seeing things that can be really tough. It's a marathon. It's not a race. And if you burn yourself out, you won't be able to do justice to the stories that you care about. Iraq, like everywhere else, has been affected by COVID-19. The pandemic exacerbated a lot of the very severe issues that led to the protests in the first place. How this is going to develop remains to be seen, but that's why it's our job as journalists to try to stay on the ground and keep covering these things as safely as possible. It's a moment of change across the world. We're out there in the streets and getting their stories and amplifying their voices, because it's a really unique moment of protest where people are in the midst of a very dynamic change. It's an exciting thing to be able to report, and I'm sure you will all do great jobs.